So, Ken, I'm eating dinner, you're eating dinner. We haven't spoken. I had Layla for a couple of weeks, right? So, I know we want to get on a regular schedule, and I'm all into that, especially after what happened. You ready for this?
Okay.
Okay. So, as dads and as men, we tend to do stupid things, right? Okay. There's a gene, I think, there's a gene in men that we don't take or heed a warning. So, rode this little bird scooter. You know those bird scooters?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Little electric scooter.
Yeah. People our age shouldn't be doing those things, right?
No, that's probably not a good idea.
No, not a good idea at all. So I suffer from flight or flight, due to my mom getting into a major car wreck when I was 5 years old and, it was almost killing us, right? So I tend to have anxiety when, and it comes up if I'm in a big trade, or there's fear that shows up, right? So we were making a U-turn. My daughter was watching me, and I wasn't going that far, and I was getting really close to the curb. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I got to bail. And I bailed. And jumped off that thing, hit the ground so hard that I just remember saying to myself, oh, my chin, my lip. Like, I can't believe I face planted, rolling on my shoulder. So I'm on the ground. Finally, I realized that, like, I could have hit my head and died. Okay. But I'm alive. And all of a sudden, the intense pain, you know, the adrenaline kicks in, the pain kicks in. And my daughter goes, "You okay? You okay? Okay, we got to get you to a doctor." No, 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 I'm fine. I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, I realize, no, I'm really not fine. My arm hurts so much, right? Just so much. So we get back on. I lay down. I mean, I'm covered in blood, from like head to toe. I'm bleeding everywhere, and I just think to myself, the hell did I get on this thing for? Oh yeah, I'm a dad, right? And that's what we do as dads. So we rode back. I don't even know how. And I get her ice pops, right? And let me just go to the chiropractor. They'll just pop it back into place. So I go to this chiropractor. There's no chiropractors open on a Friday afternoon for some odd reason or another, right? And I go into this one place, and my shorts are covered with blood. I've got blood everywhere, elbows, hands, knees. I look like a kid. The guy looks at me and he goes, "I am not touching you. You can't lift your arm past your waist." He goes, "Go get x-rays." No, 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 just put it back into place. Oh, I'll be all right. Right? So I go to urgent care, and it's got 2 hour wait. I'm like, 2 hour wait. The kid with a 10-year-old, she ain't gonna wait 2 hours. So I go to another urgent care. I look at the woman. I said, "What do you think it is?" She goes, "I think it's broken." I'm like, "Broken? When can I get back to the gym if it's broken?" Right? That's all I'm thinking. She goes, "Look, I got to give you a steroid shot, and I got to give you a tetanus shot, and I got to give you a painkiller because we have to x-ray it." Oh, steroid shot, that thing's going to last like a day, and then this pain's going to come flying back again, right? So I go, all right, I know enough about steroid shots. It will spasm the muscle, and if my body can react and keep the spasm and not spasm after that, then it will help, right? I'll play with my mind that way. They made me go up like this in different ways, and I was just like, I got a high threshold kind of pain, but I can tell you, I was so nauseous, so much adrenaline. I was like trembling, okay, from head to toe, and nothing was broken. Well, it's probably a sprain. You should go to orthopedic and go get soft tip. Look, if it's just a sprain. So they put me in a sling. I mean, I can do now the shoulder crawl, right? It's the other shoulder, right? It's my forearm that's killing me. My forearm hurts. Like, my forearm just is screaming at certain parts during the day because the nerves haven't calmed down yet, right? They're probably radiating. So I had to go to Louisiana the next day. I'm wearing a sling. I can't even breathe. It hurts so much. But at least that spasming has stopped, right? So my chiropractor friend says, well, just do the crawl up the wall. So I was able to do it after 48 hours. I was like, oh my God, this is so great. So an hour later, I wanted to try it again and wouldn't do it. So I hold the shoulder down in place and I do it. And of course, I do it too hard. And I'm laying in bed, like shaking like a leaf, because it's amazing what adrenaline.
I know how that is.
Right? Amazing what adrenaline can do, right? And all that other stuff. So it's been 9 days. I've been pounding C60. I mean, like guzzling it, okay? I've been pulsing twice a day, which, by the way, is amazing. I've been doing hyperbaric chamber, and I've gone acupuncture twice. And I mean,
Well, you can move it.
I can move it. I mean, I can actually move it up over my head. I'm just sitting in my thing, but I have this, like, it's right here. It's just killing me. It's like on and off all day, like my forearm hurts. But I can use it. I can floss. I can do things like this. See, I can go like this. But it's that, and my chiropractor friend said to me, he goes, shoulders, man. He goes, that thing's healing, man. He goes, the pain just shoots right down the arm with shoulders. He says, it's fun, right? But, a friend of mine says, well, you should really go get a soft tissue MRI. And I'm like, what does it matter? I'm healing it. I mean, do I need to know it's torn? Do I need to know it's, I ripped something? I mean, either way, I'm healing and I'm doing things. I'm doing my exercises and I'm doing all the other stuff. And I'm back at the gym doing cardio again. But I can tell you, you ever hurt your shoulder?
I've heard it on occasion, but not that bad.
It's unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. And the stupidity of being a man. I mean, what is it about is it in our DNA? Is it in our genes? I mean,
Just pushing it a little too far. I've done that before and got injured. You just got to go one more time or just a little bit further, right?
Yeah, it's a little, exactly. One more time and a little further.
Yep. And then that's when the bad things happen.
Yeah. Why do we do that as men?
I don't know, but yeah, I've done it myself on more than one occasion. It's just, that's just the way it is, I guess. I've been, you'd think you'd learn, but somehow that doesn't seem to happen.
No, and it doesn't. And that's what somebody said. And it's funny, my daughter gave me the best advice. She goes, I said, hey, look, I said, I'm back at the gym doing cardio and everything else. And, I've got a lot of, I have movement. I mean, it's just gotta, it's just gotta heal, and my daughter goes, this is my daughter's advice. You worry for nothing, and I'm thinking like, you just don't have, first off, you didn't have two Jewish neurotic parents. Okay. Secondly, you didn't grow up where how I grew up. I mean, you have a chiropractor, you have all these like amazing herbs to take. It's like, you're like bionic, and it's funny, but her advice was so great, but it's really, it's amazing how men are wired. Because if a woman would, how many women told me, don't go on one of those birds, you could really get hurt. Oh, come on. It's like, stop being a woman. I'll be fine on it. It's just, I don't know, man, you're a scientist. I mean, do we have a stupid gene? Is there a gene in men?
Maybe it's the macho gene.
It is, right?
Yep.
Or do we not acknowledge our age?
Oh, that's another thing. But I think that's universal.
Tell me about that.
Well, how much longer it's taken you to heal. You've had injury before, and when you were in your 30s or something, it just goes way pretty quickly. Even 20s, better, even better. But boy, you get up there in those higher double digits, it just takes forever to heal.
Oh, I know.
Really slow.
I tore my shoulder playing football in college, right? And I think I was back at the gym 2 days later. I tore my shoulder lifting weights in my 30s. I think it took me 2 years. To not have pain when I reached behind me. I mean, so now, probably roughly a month this is going to take. I mean, but it's pretty fast. I mean, in 9 days, I've gone from not being a holder over my waist to, I mean, I was able to lift it over like this over my head earlier today. So, I mean, and I have full range of motion, back, front, side, up and down.
Well,
It's
then you're
just,
not too bad. You're getting there.
I'm getting there, but it's just, it's crazy. So C60 is helping. I can tell you between C60 and the pulse is really an interesting, now the pulse, as you know, fixes broken bones and other things. But I'll tell you, it's a really different sensation when you're hurt
Mhm.
than when you're not hurt. It's not as fun.
No, it is, and it does cause a little bit of inflammation too. I think when you pulse, when you're hurt,
Does
you
it?
feel a throbbing afterwards. At least I've done that with injuries I've had. It just kind of, I think it just increases the healing process, and you get a little extra blood flow, heat, a little more puffiness.
Yeah, you get a little sore after it, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
You have no choice. Like I have no choice to do it. But it's really interesting. It's like I went and you do like what type of tests do you do? Do you do a lot of what blood work tests do you do? Do you do like comprehensive panels and stuff like that?
I
Or
haven't done stuff for a while. I should go back in and get some done. I moved, and so I haven't, reconnected with doctors because I'm living on the other side of town. So I can't give you anything current.
it's funny, I did the cardiovascular marker one. My naturopath wanted that to be done. The one that would have saved John Ritter's life, right?
Hmm.
It's amazing. Here's a guy that made $10 million, $15 million a year and doesn't go get a $200 blood test, right? And the guy told me it was the cleanest he's seen, one of the cleanest tests he's ever seen, which is great because last year, and this is, I tell people all the time, you got to have a cocktail in life to get you healthy, because whatever health issues you've had for a long time, and they've built up, right?
Oh yeah.
And they manifest in so many different ways. And you remember last summer, I had to go get my my mouth done. Had to go get the root canals taken out,
Yeah.
and my bacterias were like 20. And now my bacteria level, they're 1s and 2s now, which is really nice. And I still have like that blood sugar, that fasting blood sugar is still higher than it should be. And my naturopath said to me, he goes, because it's not your diet, because it's your gums still. He says you're still working through you still have too much bacteria in there, even though it's lower than it's been. You're still working through all that stuff, and it's amazing how all this stuff compounds and compounds and compounds. Are you finding, like the cocktail of C60 and other things what type of results are you finding when it comes down to healing things long range?
Yeah, I find the cocktail, the main thing I find is you've got to, well, I do the multivitamin, multi-mineral supplement, and then I go in, there's the biggies that people need. I mean, these are the basic stuff, the magnesium. People are so deficient in magnesium, vitamins D and vitamin K. I mean, people just don't get enough of that. And then iodine. And those are the three serious things, but it's mostly things I avoid. I think the number one thing I think people for the health is getting rid of those seed oils. I mean, they're in your salad dressings, or like canola oil,
Oh,
safflower oil, sunflower oil, cottonseed oil, various these other seed oils. I mean, they're so rich in omega-6s, but which is great for birds, but it's not so good for people. And so that's why, things like avocado or olive oil are so much better, or coconut oil, or even natural animal fats like butter. But that's the thing that's it's the diet is so terrible now that I mean, you got to do the supplementation because the farms are mined out, and then you've got to do a whole bunch of avoiding stuff. And of course, don't take the fluoridated water. That's another real problem that Americans have. That's maybe one of the reasons why, I guess when they hauled the Nazis over from Operation Paperclip, they learned about how the Nazis and the Soviets were putting fluoride in the water in their prisoner war camps to keep them nice and passive. And so now then the US government said, what a great idea in the 50s. And they put fluoride in the water at the same level the Nazis put in their concentration camps in your water supply right now for most of you. So that just tells you what the government considers you to be.
well, we know how it's so funny. I've got water filtration system, right? That I bought one, one of the ones that are like $400. And it's amazing when you feel the water, when you don't clean it out for a week or two, how slimy it is in there. You're thinking like, that's not supposed to be water. That's
Yeah.
the chemicals. It's like, and you can see like the color of it at the bottom because it's the waste, because it's always like a little bit of wastewater at the bottom. It's cloudy.
Oh yeah.
And people are drinking, and like right now I'm eating red beans, tomatoes, organic yellow corn, which is really good for your, actually
Yes.
organic yellow corn is really good for eyes and skin and other things, spinach and cauliflower rice and some Parmesan cheese that was left over from my daughter. So I had to throw that in. I don't
Oh
eat
yeah,
cheese.
you can't let that stuff go. I know the same way. No, and it's
Yeah.
just yeah, that's healthy stuff. I probably none of us do a really great do the best diet, but yeah, it's just yeah, getting fluoridated water. Of course, a lot of what other people don't realize, especially say I live in Colorado, so our water comes right out of the mountains. So and we don't have anybody upstream really. But if you're like in the main part of the United States, your municipal water is being pulled out of a river.
Oh, it's so
So
gross.
there's all kinds of things upstream them and dumping their wastewater into that river, and the plants do not take out the various medicines. There's all the different pharmaceuticals and medicines that people take. They go right through those purification plants and back out into the river. I mean, downstream of the sewer plants, they have all these hermaphrodite fish. Who knows what sex they are? They're crazy hermaphrodite fish because they're so full of birth control pills and Viagra and who knows what other stuff is pouring out. Those pharmaceuticals just messed up fish. So your municipal water supply could be, especially in the east, can be filled with that. So it's critical to filter water. I mean, and these are basic things people should do. But a lot of people don't do them or don't think they're necessary, and they just don't understand.
Well, it's so funny. It's like someone said to me, "Oh man, you spent $400 on a filtration system." It's like, is it good? Yeah, it's like probably one of the best ones. A friend of mine researched it.
But what brand did you use?
Accupure.
Okay, Acupure. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean it's great. And my friend goes, "Why don't you just use Brita?" Okay, why don't I just use Brita? It's like, do you realize what is in? And I told him the same exact thing. I said, "Do you realize the amount of chemicals that are in that water?" I mean, since I started using, it's funny, since I started using this water and not like buying my water from Whole Foods, right?
Oh yeah.
I can tell you, digestive system. I mean, I forget probiotics. Because you see, I told you what I had for dinner. I mean, my diet's clean as can be, but I don't use probiotics as much because my water's clean. So my digestion and my stomach is working way better. And it's just so true. It's like all these just disgusting like chicken and antibiotics in the chicken. I mean, you're getting like,
Oh yeah. Well, organic. Get organic beef, organic eggs, organic chicken, wild caught fish, whatever it is. I mean, just don't that food chain is so toxic now. And then all the industrial chemicals. What is there? 40,000 different industrial chemicals, and none of them really have been tested for the damage that they could possibly cause biology. And some, of course, the polyvinyl what are those PBVs or whatever that came out back in there using them as oil yeah, they were just full of dioxins basically.
that's
But
so, it's
yeah,
just, it's so gross. Now, have you ever used Sanaga?
no,
You know what it is, right?
no, not really.
So for your floaters, there's something called Sanaga eye drops. They are from the Amazon rainforest, right? What they do is they burn like crazy. I mean, you put a drop in the corner of your eyes and you open your eyes for a split second and you want to rip your eyeballs out for about a minute and a half.
Oh.
I mean, they absolutely, they burn like nothing you've ever felt in your entire life. But what it does
Being recorded.
is it regrows the layer on top, so it gets rid of like the weird floaters. It kind of, I don't know, kind of like makes the floaters kind of disappear. But it's used for the hunters in the Amazon rainforest. They use it for night vision. So you got to read up on it. It's called Sanaga.
Weren't you also what was it? You were using high levels of alpha lipoic acid or something else?
I still am.
Oh, okay.
Are you using it? Did you ever get it?
Yeah, I have alpha lipoic acid. I use that. I was using it for other stuff. I didn't know it helped that really great with floaters.
How are the floaters?
They're there. They're getting maybe a little less. I've also got that infrared light you recommended.
You did.
So
That's helping, isn't it?
yes, I think it does.
Are you, how many minutes a day you doing?
I don't know, maybe 10, 15.
Closing
I
your
don't know.
eyes or opening them?
No, no, you use you leave your eyes open?
I did for the first 2 months, and then this
Okay. I
optometrist.
always close my eyes. So that's just way too much. But you know, the
Yeah.
infrared, the 810 will go right through your eyelids and
Yeah,
down into your
Ken, this
your
optometrist said to me, she goes, "Yeah, great." She goes, "You'll get rid of anything that's in the back of your eyes. So if you had any, drusen left over, she goes, you'll get rid of that." She goes, "But you'll give yourself cataracts if you keep doing it."
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm not sure because cataracts usually cause an oxidation of the lens. So that's that tends to be blue and ultraviolet light.
Are you liking that red light?
I think it does. I think it helps. It just, that's one thing too. A lot of things you aren't going to see. How long did it take you to get floaters? Like years, decades, right?
Decades. I didn't have them so
They're
long.
not going to go away in 30 days.
No.
So, and that's one of the things, like all the health things that people do that you want to do, you have to make them part of your lifestyle. Because to heal something like that, it's going to take a long, long time. And the only way it's ever going to work is when you make it part of your lifestyle, like pulsing every day or every other day, right? That's really important. And of course, the good nutrition every day. And you don't have to be perfect all the time. Everybody slacks off, and maybe they ate that pizza one day. Okay, whatever. But just the thing. And of course, I do the intermittent fasting. If you're older, you've got to do that. There's just no way, two ways around it. Intermittent fasting is your pathway to health because you just got to give that digestive system the rest it needs to repair itself and get ready for the next meal.
How many hours are you doing now?
I'm about a 4 to 6er, and then if I'm bad one day, I just make it up the next. So that's usually the one meal a day, and then every now and then, maybe once a month or something, I'll just won't eat for a day.
I'll eat. What is it now? 8:24. So I'll fast tomorrow until about 11:30 after this. So I'll do about 15 hours, and then
Mhm.
I'll have like eggs, and then I'll
Yeah.
have like salad for lunch. Then I'll have like salad for lunch. Then I'll have like coconut yogurt with cacao and berries in the afternoon, and then I'll have like dinner, and then I'm done. I get my
Yeah, 'cause
eating in about 8 hours. I eat for about 8 hours.
yeah, okay, yeah. If you do fats and proteins in the end of your fast, like that doesn't. It's when you start eating the carbs. That's when it kicks in the whole sugar processing thing. So when you eat proteins and fats in the beginning, it's still your body, in a sense, is still fasting in certain, at least as far as the insulin action is concerned. And then when you take the carbs, that kicks in. Though you do need your carbs. I mean, you can't, and you also need the other thing people don't realize. You need that fiber, that roughage. You need to be eating those vegetables like your mama told you.
I eat a lot of vegetables. So when should I? Because I'll still have fasting blood sugar around 100 or 95, and my A1C is my A1C. My 60-day is like good. My 30-day was 3.6 this time around, and the guy looked at me. He says, "Did you have wine? Did you have something weird in the last month?" And I'm thinking, like, God, I was eating a lot of carrots raw, and that could have just and that alone could have done it. One thing could do it in 30 days, right? So how
Yeah.
are you when you want to get those blood sugars down? When do you eat the carbs? Someone told me you eat your carbs at dinner, and I'm thinking like at dinner, it's like, aren't you spiking yourself I
Well,
mean,
it's right before the fat you go fasting is probably when you want to do your carbs.
so you do eat them at dinner.
Yeah, so you eat them. Yeah, eat them at the end of the fast, and then eat that one last meal, and then it's just water and things like. By the way, you can't if you take coffee, you'll break your fast. Even if you don't, even if it's black coffee, I've tested it on myself, and it breaks the fast.
Oh, it does? Because I have green tea.
Yeah, green tea probably doesn't. Green tea didn't do it for me, but coffee, there's something in coffee. Coffee's more substantial than, and you're not even putting cream in it. Coffee's more substantial than green tea. Green
I,
tea isn't much.
I put a little almond milk in my maybe an ounce of almond milk. So that's maybe 8 calories. I put that in my green tea. That's not breaking the fast, is it?
Yeah, not really, because fats really don't. If you do it, like you could have the butter, you could put the butter in the tea or something, and it won't. That's what a lot of the guys do to kind of extend their intermittent fast, is to the first meal just be like fats or just proteins or something, and so that just tends because it's just that's you're still kind of going keto, And another thing for people, if you need people, they talk about the ketones and things that are really good. A lot of that's excellent for brain health and things, and you can
Okay.
buy those. And so you can have quote have your keto. You can have your regular diet and keto too, because you can buy selections of ketones, which are really useful, especially for brain health, in your health food store. So you can have quote ketosis, in a bottle. So it's not like you have to, torture yourself in the keto diet to do that, because you really do need a lot of the fibers and other things that keto doesn't give you as a
When are
rule.
you eating your fruits? When are you eating your berries?
Middle of the day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I start the carbs up and toward the latter half of the fasting.
Yeah, I'll have, like I said, I'll have like eggs for breakfast. Sometimes I'll have coconut yogurt, which is all fat,
Oh yeah,
And,
exactly.
I mean that I love that breakfast. I'll have coconut yogurt. I mean, you gotta write this down because you'll love it. The
What coconut yogurt do you use?
Cocoa, the really good one, the $6 jars.
Cocoa.
Cocoa. So I'll have that, Ken, and then I'll put ground flax, ground chia, right? Cacao nibs, which are like pure. I mean, cacao nibs are so good for so good for you.
Cow nibs.
Yep, cacao nibs, raw cacao nibs.
Oh, cacao nibs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the pure the
Yep.
chocolate precursor.
Yep, I'll have those. Mix those in there. I'll put cinnamon, ginger, collagen powder, green powder, blueberries, and goji berries, and then I'll mush it together. And I'll mush it all together, and that's a pretty good breakfast. But I like that better, honestly. I like that better around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I like that as a kind of hour and a half. I like my berries and fruit an hour and a half after my disgusting sardines that I eat for lunch every single day, right?
Yeah, and sardines are good for you, by the way, even though they are a bit smelly.
Even though they taste like cat food, but I do like that really that bowl, in the afternoon. Or I like to do when I'm with my daughter. She's really, really big into acai bowls, which are just no sugar acai, right? And I'll have that with fruit and a little bit of almond butter and stuff like that. And then there's this paleo bread that I bought at Whole Foods. It's got absolutely 0 grams of carbs. It tastes like wood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one of the problems with some of those things.
And what's good? Because chickpea flour tortillas. Because chickpea flour is really good for us as we get older. Chickpea flour.
You finding all this stuff at Whole Foods?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go check that out, because some of that stuff I don't even find at natural grocers, which we have here. Which
I gotta get like chickpea flour tortillas. I'll do that with my turkey bacon sometimes in the morning. And then when my daughter was here, I had grits, which are really good.
Grits. I don't know. I never really adjusted to grits.
It's funny though so I gotta get those fasting sugars down.
Well, I don't know what's really causing that. I think I remember reading something, but I can't recall directly the source. And it's something. Some of it's genetic, and some of it's just kind of stuff it's not that bad even at the fasting, but I'm not sure how to get it down though. Some people just have that, and it's just.
So my doctor said, that's what this naturopath said. He goes, your 90 day is perfect. He goes, your fasting blood sugar is a little higher. He goes, that just could be your body. It's the way you're breaking shit down.
Yeah.
Don't take it as a really bad thing. It's like, don't stress about it.
Yeah. And another thing, yeah, you can't starve yourself for carbs, because, your body can just turn your proteins into carbs.
True.
And so it's just eating, and that's actually what's happening when you're on the keto diet, that your body is still getting carbs. It's just taking the proteins and busting it into carbs. And then the carbs are used for fuel by your cells. So, I think the one thing, people don't need to go to extremes. You do need to push the envelope, and you need to go there, but whenever you go that fanatical last mile, about the fanatical last mile, or we're going to do that one more run, or go a little. Yeah, exactly. That's something probably we could do without. Have a little less of our lives.
I did it today. It's so funny. I had a good day today, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, don't do it. Don't do one more trade. And I didn't do it, but then I saw something that actually fit my trading plan. And I was like, let me do this. And it was actually my best trade of the day. And I was like, all right, this time it actually paid off and worked. But man, I'll tell you, that one more, that mentality has been my mentality my
Yeah.
whole life.
Well, how is the market craziness? Because I'm more of a stacker than the market. My dad played the market stuff, but I mean, that's kind of like a full-time job. You got to really if you want to make money instead of lose your shirt, you got to be fully engaged in the trading process, and work on it to be professional at it. Otherwise, you're gonna get yourself burnt. But I know it's just getting crazy out there. Of course, every time it goes down, they're going to pump the market back up. So you can just go long on some electronic fund and pull it back up or whatever. But
I,
it's just crazy.
I,
I wouldn't even know where to start, frankly.
I just, every day I wake up and I say to myself, how much longer is this just going to keep going up, right? When I look at if I look at a monthly chart of NASDAQ, it's scary. It's in it's in high altitude section. It's like, imagine, imagine you're on top of Aspen, right? You're 12, you're right up there at that, that road that they open up.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, that road that's not open till July 4th weekend usually, right? So imagine you're there, Independence Pass, right? Imagine you're in Independence Pass and you slip and there's no rope or net to catch you for 4,000 or 5,000 feet down below. That's what it looks like on some of these charts right now. And people are like, oh no, we'll keep going up. Let me tell you something. I am so, first off, I want this whole world, you and I have talked about this, and I think this is the most fucked up world that we live in. And a friend of mine said, and I wanted to talk to you about this because I think you'll like this. My friend said this all started when the ballot boxes were on the side of the road and Gore lost that election to Bush. That's when the divide started, right? Then we started battling more red states, red state, blue states. And then, then Trump really was the great divide, and then we had Me Too, where the women just had to start hating men because, a man jerks off in front of a woman and a woman doesn't do anything, but then she realizes the guy's rich. So she might as well say it was like some type of visual rape, right? Okay. Yeah. And then we had Black Lives Matter, right? And then we had COVID, and then people started battling that. COVID, is it real? Is it not real?
But all these are generated. I think it goes back to the Reagan days. I think when they put Reagan in there, and then they were going to whack his sorry ass. And by the way, I was watching live when Reagan got shot, and Connie Chung came on, and she said there was 2 shooters, and the second one was on the roof, and that's the one that actually hit Reagan under his arm and took him to the hospital.
I was in DC.
I never saw that again.
In college in Washington, D.C. when that happened.
Yeah, and I saw that on the news, and she said there was 2 shooters. I've never seen that again. I'm sure it was recorded somewhere, but yeah, I think and Bush was going to take over, right? And Reagan should have died because they shot him with an exploding bullet, but the bullet didn't explode for some reason. And so otherwise he would have died. And so, and I think that's when, but after that, he was so brain damaged, from the loss of blood and stuff, that Bush was running things anyway. And that's, I think when, things, because Jimmy Carter, looking at Jimmy Carter today, I mean, maybe he wasn't the brightest president or the whatever, but as far as a human being goes and a decent person, I don't think you're going to find anybody better. Certainly in any president at all. The people may complain, but look at what he's done since he's been out of the president compared to what these other presidents do when they get out of the presidency. He's continued a moral, ethical life, whereas the other ones just collect the cash and live in gigantic mansions. I hear Obama's going to do his 60th birthday bash. You seen his mansion? Where do you get that on the presidential salary?
You got that at all the payoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
They all get.
Oh yeah.
They all. It's funny, Ken. They all get the payoffs, and it's interesting too. It's like people. Bush was the president. For 8 years, George W. And I think no, he wasn't. I said it was Weekend at Bernie's. It was. They kept Cheney alive like they kept Bernie alive. I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
It was President Cheney for 8 fucking years because Cheney was George. Papa George Sr.'s right-hand fucking man. I mean, they were like this.
Oh, yeah, don't forget Rummy was there too.
Oh God, I forgot about
Passed away. If there's a place in hell, if there's a hell and there's a place in it, Rummy's got the #1 spot. He was an evil guy.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, he's the guy that put aspartame on the market, besides all his other crimes.
Yeah, but George Jr. was just,
He was just a doofus. He was just, a cokehead.
he
So,
was
yeah.
he was just, I remember, I'll never forget when he was in that kindergarten class and they told him that the World Trade Center was taken down, and that expression on his face was like, oh, he just didn't know what end was up,
Yeah,
didn't
well,
know what to
that's why
do.
they sent his ass down to Florida, because they didn't want him getting in the way of the operation. You know, yeah, that was an inside job if there ever was one.
Oh, they're all inside jobs. I mean,
I know, it's just so insulting, though.
it's insulting. The other night I looked at, I never go on CNN. The other night I looked at, and I think to myself, man, how come every single time there's a COVID outbreak, right? Why is it always Florida? It's always Florida,
Well,
right?
yeah,
Every single time that there's bad COVID, Florida always broke single day records. It's like, what is it about Florida that the COVID government, doesn't like? Because
because they don't have the bans on the masks and stuff. I mean, they could just determine all those COVID tests. The COVID test, first off, the Delta variant, there is no test for the Delta variant. Sorry, you can't. The tests people take, there are no tests. So if somebody says there's a Delta variant running around, well, how do they know? The COVID test can't even tell the difference between COVID and the flu, right? It certainly can't tell the difference between variants. And so it's just ridiculous. This whole using a PRC test is just to figure out it's ridiculous. You can't be used. Even the guy that made it said you can't use it for testing for disease. It's just ridiculous.
I know it's so ridiculous. It's like, I was like, yeah, and that's what it's so funny because that's what the thing is. The Delta variant is overtaking Florida, and it's like, you and I have talked about this for a year at least, and you and I have said it, and we're the only few people who said it. This is never going away.
No, because it's not about some little microorganism, right? It's about control. It's about the Great Reset. It's about the lockdown and takeover. Look at Australia. They got that place locked down. What some people get sick. I think they've had 17 people die. In like 4 months or something. And oh my God, let's lock it down the whole country. And how many other lives were destroyed? Like hundreds or thousands, right? So it's nothing about human life or saving. It's just about they're trying to lock down. I think they know the financial system's blowing up. We know it's going to go, but they have no plan B. There's no plan B. All they can do is pump and pump and pump and pump and pump. And if it crashes, they'll pump it again. And they got no choice but just to pump it till blows up. That's all. That's their only plan. And they'll do reverse repos. They'll do repos. They'll flood the Fed will pile up treasuries on its balance sheet like there's no end for tomorrow, or buy corporate junk debt and put it on its portfolio. They will do whatever it takes. They will create as much money out of the thin air to keep it going. They have no plan B, and they're just going to pump it till it's the end.
It's funny. I was talking to a guy today when I was at the Freeze place, right? And I've been doing the hyperbaric chamber, which is so. You want to talk about meditation? Oh, I mean.
Yeah, by the way, listeners out there, hyperbaric chambers, they're the only, people with neuropathy I've worked with and stuff. That's the only thing that's ever really helped people with neuropathy is hyperbaric chambers.
They are. I can tell you, I first did it, because me, it's like I'll do every cocktail imaginable to make my eyes better than ever, which I really believe they are anyway at this point. I mean, I'm like the same way as you. It's like I haven't been back to the eye doctor, and I don't think I think I'll go back.
Should be doing these, but
I know you should be doing the blue. I mean, I'll probably go back in the fall, but I honestly don't believe there's anything there. And the hyperbolic chamber, I've been meditating. There's a great meditation I use, Wayne Dyer's I Am.
Oh, yeah. I know that is.
I mean, so it's just basically all you do is, that you say, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am whatever it is. And you say it to yourself over and over again. And the music that he plays, I was in this unbelievable meditative state today in the hyperbolic chamber. I mean, I was in that, when you get to that perfect place, you know you're napping, but you're not because you still hear the music,
Mhm.
right? So you're in that perfect, unbelievable, like like 10 out of 10 monk meditation. You're just your brain, you feel your body race, you feel stuff racing through your body. I mean, you could feel like energy going through your entire body from head to toe. I mean, it's you realize what electrical energy you really truly are. So I'm in this incredible meditation, and they put a walkie-talkie in there, and all of a sudden I hear from the restaurant next door, yeah, you need an order of nuggets, yeah, nuggets and Coca-Cola, and I'm thinking like, what the fuck? And like I jump because I was so in this incredible meditative state. And I'll get there. I'll get there sometimes if I put the pulse over my eyes and put it on medium.
Have you ever tried binaural beats from the Monroe Institute?
No, can you where
Oh yeah,
like
no, just
binaural?
go to the Monroe Institute. These guys at the Monroe, it was by Dr. Monroe, I guess the guy that started it. What they do is, they have guys like Indian gurus that'll like meditate for 30 years to kick their mind into that right spot. Well, they with the binaural beats, they can actually like put your hemispheres in it with like 15 minutes because they have
Wow.
different sound velocities and so they can actually synchronize your hemispheres of your brain and get you into states that would take years or decades for like to do it on your own.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great cheat for getting into like those meditative states.
Well, it's funny, Ken, because I was meditating, for I'll do my Wim Hof, which to me is a great meditative state, right? 3 rounds of Wim Hof in the morning is a great meditative state. And at night, putting the rings on my eyes, you could really feel your body lifting off into that. But there's another way I meditate, acupuncture. Acupuncture to me is like, you get a good acupuncturist that puts the needles in the right meridians, and you just, I mean, it's like you just go somewhere. I mean, it's really unbelievable. But the binaural beats, I was listening to like, all those like, Headspace and all this other stuff, and I can tell you when someone's talking during meditation, you're fucking talking. You're gonna get my brain going, right? And I'm
Oh
thinking
yeah,
about everything else.
you're
And the
back in the
binaural
office.
and the music, when you're right, you have to have headphones on, and when it goes from side to
Yeah,
side to side, you can feel your body just dancing and dancing. And I mean, I'll meditate. Today was, God, I think I've meditated 2 hours today. I mean, I have a lot of free time, but it's like it's it's pretty amazing how you feel afterwards, and how you sleep that night is just, you get into these like deep, deep sleeps. I had this sleep the other night that I thought I was Marshawn Lynch, and I was going for the final 5 yards, and I was carrying the entire team on my back, all 10 guys plus 11 defenders, and I needed 5 yards, and I got 5 yards. And it was just the weirdest. I woke up in the middle of the night. I was like, what the fuck was that about? Where was that mean? It's like Marshawn Lynch, and I was white too, because
yeah.
I didn't look like Marshawn Lynch at all, right? And, I was like a crossbreed between looking like me and looking like Marshawn Lynch. But yeah, meditation and healing. I've been listening to Joe Dispenza too, and I could
Oh
tell you
yeah,
about.
I've heard him. Yes.
I like him, Ken, but I'm listening to his book on tape and on Audible, and I just wish he wasn't so wordy and just so like. I wish he'd get to the point.
Well, there's just that's just the way people are. Some people have their styles, and there's other things that does drive me crazy, especially on the internet. They drag you out on these things. Just say it. Don't sit there and talk for 50 minutes about something and then finally tell it. Because this is not a movie. I don't have to wait till the end to the punchline at the end of the movie.
Like, so what else is new in your life? Your girlfriend's in the corner. I can tell you got that little
Yes, yeah.
smile.
But she's been cooking the rest of dinner here.
I know it's
So
funny. You can tell when a woman's in the background, the guy's got that like little half smile. How long you guys been dating for?
I don't know, decade or two. How long have we known each other?
Mm, we've known each other for several lifetimes.
I don't know, a couple.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Everything you've been saying is wonderful.
Okay.
Absolutely wonderful. I agree with everything you're talking about. It's really, really really interesting.
Well, she's working on the floaters too. She's got the
Yes,
floater
the
things.
floaters were like, I have a big one side, really bad floaters, really bad.
Are they where are they up in the corner? Is it what I call like, do you
No,
remember
it's
the
like
movie Ghost?
it was a burst. I had a burst one day
Oh, you had
when
a
I was at
burst.
my creepy sister's house, and she was upsetting me, and my eye just went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. So anyway,
It is what it is. That's okay.
okay. Yeah. These this Zoom thing.
It's okay. I'm here, but
Okay.
I gotta go cook. Bye.
Yep.
I'm cooking.
Yeah, we're working on those floaters. That's one of the things. I've got them. She has them. It's one of those
We all
those
get 'em.
things that, yeah, it's something that comes with age, but a lot of other things come with age.
You
Ugh.
know, it's nice that you guys been together a long time. I've been single again. And I could tell you it's very different in post-COVID days. It's
Oh yeah,
like-
how do you meet somebody, right? Yeah.
It- it's
Something that
weird.
doesn't drive you crazy.
Right. It's weird, Ken, because it's like, you know, because that's the one thing about Los Angeles that I really liked was that there was just an abundance of beautiful women, you know, that were definitely spiritually, you know, into a lot of the same stuff that I was into. But I mean, a lot of them were also really fucked up too, you know,
Yeah.
because that was just the breeding ground of that. And I'm finding it's funny in Atlanta, like I just, you know, I go to Whole Foods and I never meet anybody at Whole Foods. And I was this person that I can meet women in Whole Foods. I mean, look, I built a career, I made millions of dollars teaching men how to meet women in Whole Foods, right?
Yep.
And it's really, it's kind of bizarre. I'm not having those moments, you know, at all. And I'm starting to think like, I like Atlanta. I think, you know, it's so funny when you emailed me the other day, I was gonna email you too, right? You said, how's Atlanta? And I'm like, well, I've almost died in Atlanta twice because I got hit by a swing the summer before in my head and bled for like, you know, 2 days, right? That was, so my daughter's almost, you know, I've almost died twice with my daughter. I'm thinking like, what is it about Atlanta and accidents with me? And then is Atlanta really the place that I need to be at? Because it's beautiful. Like I find it beautiful. And the summer is nothing what I thought it was. I mean, I'm barely sweating. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm not running triathlon. I'm not going to run I'm not going to run a marathon around the block, but I just find this like, I'm starting to think like, where do I want to be? Because I'm not going to buy a house ever again because we're never gonna be able to buy a house ever again because.
Oh no, that's just ridiculous. I think all of that, it's this pumping thing. You know, they're creating money out of thin air. And of course there's, what is that? The Casimir effect? Because the people that get the money the first, they're the ones that benefit. And then eventually it trickles on down to the peasant classes. And so, and then, you know, and BlackRock's taking a lot of that money being created out of thin air and going out and buying houses. So now people trying to buy a house, you're now competing against money being created out of thin air by the banksters, you know, the international banksters, you know, you're competing with them. And it's just, this is such a giant bubble of everything you see it, except of course in gold and silver, but they push those things down because they can make as many naked shorts as they want and just drive. But it's just, they're just going to, I have no idea what's going to happen. You know, I have an economics degree from years back and it's just, I mean, it's gone beyond any parameters, any boundaries, any way to calculate what the hell's on the other side. It's broken all the rules. You know, it's just,
you know what season we're heading into too. You know what's getting pumped next.
I don't know, more COVID.
Nope. Bitcoin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the year that Bitcoin makes its big move, and Bitcoin makes its move when? September, October, November, and December, right? So watch Bitcoin get pumped over 100 grand in the fall.
And then they'll jerk it at the end. And
oh
those
God, they're gonna pull the rug out from. I mean, they're gonna pump this thing. One of the guys that I follow thinks they can pump it up to 130, right? He really believes it's gonna be 130. He figured it. You know, he's a 30-year trader, right? And he figured it out from the charts and stuff like that. And he says, but they're gonna pump it back. It's gonna pump up, and then they're
pull the rug and wipe all those people out and put the cash in their pockets.
Yep, they're gonna pump it to 130, and they're gonna bring it down to 60 and let it sit there for years. You know, before
or it drops even there. Of course, there's a fatal flaw in that whole thing, is because any blockchain grows longer and longer and longer, so it takes more money and more time to process. And then things like Bitcoin are having. And if it ever drops below the cost of processing, it goes to zero. And since that line will increase exponentially into the future, at some point that cost of processing will exceed the value of the coin, and at that point it goes to zero.
So this could be the big pump.
Yeah, it could be the big pump, but they're gonna, yeah, but they'll pump it, and they'll get all the stupid money to jump in. Everybody will ride it up thinking it's the big future, and then because if Bitcoin has been commoditized, right? It's traded on the comics. And if it's on the comics, you can naked short that sucker, right? Just like they naked short gold and silver. Sometimes they'll naked short more silver than exists in the whole world, right? In one day, just to drive prices down. So it's like, so you can do anything there, and so if they can pump it up, and then they can go short and then pull the plug and wipe those people out.
It's
put
funny,
that money in their pocket.
Someone said to me, someone said, you're going to buy Bitcoin? You're going to buy Bitcoin for the fall run? No, I got NinjaTrader, and I got the futures. I got the micro futures. I don't need to buy it.
Yeah. Buy the futures. I mean, if you know what you're doing, yeah, you can probably ride this sucker up, getting out every day. And then when it does go down, you just fucking short it and make money going down.
That's all I'm going to do.
Make money going down. And yeah, you got to know what you're doing though. If you want to be a trader, you need to study it and learn your skills and understand.
It's a good thing I know what I'm doing, because I've been waiting for this. It's so funny. I spent like $1,000 a year to keep this a futures account open. I never use it, right? My friend goes, man, you're wasting $1,000 a year. I said, no, I'm not. They have micro futures on Bitcoin. I said, for 10 micro futures, I am mimicking the move of a Bitcoin, right? So the fact is, when Bitcoin starts to make its move and you're getting $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 movements, right? I'm going to go sit there and make it. And then, my friend is big into Bitcoin, but you don't own the Bitcoin. I don't care about owning.
Who cares about owning it?
I don't care about owning it. They says you can borrow against the Bitcoin. I said, I can borrow against my TD Ameritrade funds. I can borrow against everything. It's the same, but you can borrow and get more interest on the Bitcoin. And I'm like, all right, you're a Bitcoin fanatic, and I hope you're right. And I always end that conversation that way. I hope you're right, because if you're right, then you're rich, you're stupid rich, and I'm happy for you. And you can come to me and say, yeah, I should have bought it, instead of just making fiat. They hate fiat currency,
But isn't Bitcoin fiat kind of?
It's all the same.
It's just, it's just a unit of, if people give it value because people believe it has value. That's all it is. It doesn't have any intrinsic value in and of itself. It's just a ledger on a computer, system.
It's just it's all a game.
Yes, it is. But unfortunately, I just don't know what's on the other side of this, because it's gone so far. The pumping has gone beyond all I know is what usually goes up, up, up. When it finally blows, goes down, down, down. And the more they push it up, the more down it's going to go. It's kind of like that reaction thing, like a rubber band. Poing,
Yep.
It pops back. And so that's just, but I can't tell you when it's going to happen, because they were going to put everything in the kitchen sink into it, and they will pump it, and they will pump it, and they will continue to pump it, and they will do whatever it is to keep it going, no matter what, no matter how much, how many trillions of dollars do we have to take? If they have to make $1 trillion a day out of thin air to pump the system, they will. There are no more limits. They will just do it until the whole thing goes kaboom. And I can't tell you when that will happen.
I read charts every single day, and I can't tell you when it will happen. I mean, it's like I sit there. There's going to be warning signs. There's going to be some warning signs that people will ignore. I mean, look, I'm salivating because you make more money on the down. You get a good 20% correction, and it goes into a corrective phase. You make way more money faster when that thing drops, because you get more panic. There's more panic. There is more panic when people feel like, oh my God, I got to get out, right? Then, oh my God, I got to get in. Oh my God, I got to get out is, incredible. We're having warning signs now. Amazon goes down 250 points after earnings. I mean, we're getting little, I think we're getting little warning signs.
You know what they say? The bull goes up the stairs, the bear goes out the window.
Oh yeah. That's why I'm more of a bear. I mean, it takes a lot for me, Ken, to go long. I just don't like it. It doesn't move as fast for me. But if I see a good short opportunity, and I miss it, I'm like, damn, that was 75 cents in 40 seconds. I mean, that's what I did today. 35 seconds, Square went down 75 cents. people go, well, but it went up so much today. I missed the going up part. I caught 75 cents in 30 seconds. I'm happy. I'm done, so anyway, where can people reach you? I'm going to put a link down below. You and I can talk. We'll talk again next week.
Let's go at c60purplepower.com. And for those of you probably listen to this, C60 is just a really superior antioxidant. And you can probably go back to one of the past shows and learn more about it. It's it's just it's an amazing thing. Double the lifespan of test animals. So that can be you.
Great. So you and I will live to like 150, we'll
If
just be talking.
we really want to.
No, and we'll be talking about this going, damn, Ken, it's like the 90th anniversary of COVID.
Oh, yeah, they know when people have special masks now. They'll be walking around in little tubes.
Yeah.
Tube on.
I call them, they'll be in body condoms,
Yeah, body condoms, little
No one's
tubes.
gonna have sex. No one have sex anymore. They're just gonna be put on. Why don't I just go slip a condom on and just go walk around? I mean, I see people now with we'll go there next time. But I mean, I was in the parking lot today and there was a family of masks, and I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, just stop.
Oh, no, the mainstream media has been pounding the whole thing up again, fear
Yep.
porn. And I can see it out now. Before, no mask, and now you can see some people with masks because they sit there, they watch the fear porn at night, and they're just living in fear. But I think, I think this is kind of like it just kind of shows us how many people are living in fear in society. Just the number of people that, we wouldn't know it regularly just seeing them on the street, but now they put a mask on and it lets us know these are people that live in fear. Their lives are just full of fear, and that's their world of existence.
Oh, not the way I live. It's never been. Look, if I lived in fear, I wouldn't have got on that bird. It's just not the way I choose to live. It's, I might have it in my trading, and I work through all that, right? Because that's psychological stuff. But man, I'll tell you, I don't wear masks. I don't. I mean, I wear it on the airplane.
Yeah, we have to do something. You can do it, but it's not like just something they force you to do just to make things happen.
It's nuts. Anyway, I'll put the link down below. Hang out. I'll say goodbye to you properly. I know you got to eat. For the rest of you, check it out. I'm telling you, C60 is awesome. I mean, I would not be able to move my shoulder up and all around at my advanced age if I did not have something magical working through me. Yeah, granted, I'm doing lots of other things, but I can tell you, when I went to that doctor the first time, the chiropractor, he told me I was probably a 4th degree sprain, and I would probably be 2 months before I really got decent movement in it. And I had decent movement in it 3 days later. So that's got a lot to do with diet. It's got a lot to do with what I have in my body ahead of time. It's got a lot to do with what I'm sucking down and the things that I'm doing. But part of it is C60, and I believe in C60 from the second I did it, because there's so many, just for instance, my cardiovascular work, was clean as a whistle. I mean, I'm telling you, C60, you guys, it's worth every penny that it is, and you'll feel a lot better. Anyway, I'm going to put links down below. Ken, hang out, and we'll have you back on again, because I got to get back on to doing more. I took too long of a break. That's what happens with kids in summer vacation, man. But it was so much fun. So much fun. Let's kill that. Anyway, hang out, all right?